Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo Buddhaya. In the session today, I will talk about the Noble Eightfold Path, a little bit, not all. Sakuṇagghisutta. Sakuṇagghisutta. Satya, what is Satya? Truth. Vibhanga and exposition or analyzing the truth, the noble truth. This discourse was started by the Supreme Buddha to the monks, but completed by Venerable Sariputta, the Arahant, the Venerable Bhante. And we just go to the Four Noble Truths. And the last part is the Noble Truth of the cessation of suffering, which is the Noble Eightfold Path. How does that start? Katamanchauso samadhitti. Samadhitti, did you see that word? Samadhitti is the word. Samadhitti? Right view. What? Oh, excuse me. What is right view? Right view is well described here.
And what is right view? Knowing about suffering, the origin of suffering, the cessation of suffering, and the practice that leads to the cessation of suffering. This is called right view.
Sadhu, sadhu. This is right view. Right view means like the view is the concept, the eye, the view, the corner that we see the world. All right. So knowing about suffering, if we know about the meaning of suffering, as according to the explanation of the Buddha, birth is suffering, age is suffering, sickness is suffering, death is suffering, separation from loved ones is suffering. In brief, the five aggregates of clinging is suffering. He explained in detail, right? This is the first noble truth, suffering. What is the second noble truth? The origin of suffering. The origin of suffering is the second. What is the origin of suffering? Tanha in Pali. In English? Craving. Craving. In detail, we have that. Maybe we can talk about samadhi in detail in our next session. I actually will talk about the right intention today. And then the third noble truth is this is the cessation of suffering. What is the cessation of suffering? The very cessation of very craving is the way of cessation of suffering. If you don't have that craving, we have no suffering. Does that make sense? Because of the craving, we are born and we experience again the separation from loved ones, separation from sickness, death, and everything we have, old age and everything. Why? Because the desire causes us the rebirth again and again and again. All right. And then what is the noble truth of the cessation of suffering? This is the fourth. This is called again Noble Eightfold Path. The cessation of suffering is the Noble Eightfold Path. Again, what is the first noble truth? The first step in the Noble Eightfold Path? Right view. Again, in right view, we have that Noble Eightfold Path as the fourth noble truth. But me is for this today. Katama jauso samma sankappo. Samadhi is the first. Samma sankappa is the second. Second step in the Eightfold Path. What is samma sankappo?
What is right thought? thoughts of renunciation, goodwill, and harmlessness. All right thought.
How many steps are there in right intention? Three aspects. What's the first one? Thoughts of renunciation is the first. The second, thoughts of goodwill. And then third, thoughts of harmlessness. If we have these three, we have the right intention, samma sankappa. What is thoughts of renunciation? Thoughts of renunciation. Renunciation means like you leave your home and go to Himalayas and become an ascetic. Is that the renunciation? It's just a way that if someone can do. But it's not the perfect way that we can explain about renunciation. What is it? Renunciation is understanding the meaning of the things and develop our wisdom towards that, and letting go is a renunciation. How? Letting go of the desire, maybe to the things we see, the things we hear, things we smell, things we taste, things we tangible, and things we thought, the things. So renunciation is the way that we let go of our desire, minimize our desire. The minimizing of our desire is the minimizing of the suffering. How do we do this? How can we practice this actually? So the less desire for the things we see, desire, like we have uncontrolled desire. What is it? Uncontrolled desire. Uncontrolled desire leads us to definite suffering. How? We are not controlled. We're not restrained. That's why the Buddha gave us precepts. Buddha gave us 5 precepts to restrain ourselves. If we practice the first, we do not do anything bad to living beings. Actually, it's like the goodwill too. What is actually goodwill? Metta, right intention. What is thoughts of harmlessness? Compassion. Compassion. So, first one is renunciation. The second one is loving kindness. The third one is compassion. So when we have these 3, we have the right intention. It is one step in the Eightfold Path. Such a beautiful practice, huh? So when it comes to the renunciation again, giving is a way that we can start. Something maybe it could be very simple. Maybe it could be something big. Giving is the way that we can start of our renunciation. Giving, renunciation. What is, how can we practice it? So giving something for the happiness of others. We let go our things that we can use for our happiness and enjoyment. We give for the happiness of others, for the comfort of other people, for the comfort of other beings too. We do this. All the time we do this. But the thing is, we are not happy about our giving. What do you say about that? We are not happy. We do this. But we don't satisfy. We think that is not something simple. If I share a story, you might understand that we can overcome our suffering, overcome our pain, overcome our depression, overcome our mental suffering, as well we can overcome our physical suffering that happiness can give you. This story goes to the Buddha's time. Venerable Arahant Moggallana Bhante. You know about the Moggallana Arahant Bhante? If you go to the meditation hall, on the right side of on the left side of the Buddha, you have that beautiful statue in blue. That's the Bhante Mahamoggallana. Mahamoggallana Arahant Bhante was the best in the psychic powers. Psychic powers. He always visits the heavenly worlds collects information from the heavenly beings and comes back to the human world for what? To share the information. Why? Oh, I am amazed. I have that ability to go to the heavenly world. You don't know anything. Is that the way? No, then for what? He goes to the heavenly world and shares the information with the human beings here in the human world. Why? To encourage you to make merits, to practice Dhamma. That's the purpose of the Bhante visiting the heavenly world. One day, this Venerable Moggallana Bhante saw a little boy in the human world. That boy, very small, he doesn't have a family, maybe not that much rich. He doesn't have a good school to attend. He doesn't have teachers. Maybe he doesn't have good food to eat. But he has a job to take care of their family, maybe mother and father. What is the job? He got the job in the farm with the cattle. The job is he takes the cattle to the grassland to feed the grass and water. Every day he goes through the forest, to the meadow, to the grassland. That's the job. In the evening, he takes the cattle back to the farm. Maybe his mom makes something for him, for his lunch or something. Just something very little, something very simple. He brings that with him. One day, when he was going with the cattle, he saw someone was coming towards him from the opposite direction. He blew like the blue lotus flower with an alms bowl in his hand. Who is this? Mahamoggallana Venerable Arahant Bhante. He was thinking, every day I go this way, but I do not meet a monk. But today I have. What can I do? He was keeping coming towards him with the alms bowl in his hand. Can I give something to this Bhante? Do I have something? Yes, of course I have. What? I have 2 pieces of bread. We call it pittu in Sinhala. 2 pieces of bread. 2 just small slices of bread I have for my breakfast, for my lunch. Made maybe my mom. Can I give this to this Bhante? He was keeping coming towards this little boy. He is going in the front of the cattle because he saw the Bhante. The Bhante was coming towards him. He grabbed the 2 pieces of pittu into his hand, bread. All of a sudden, he looked back and he knew what was going on. Cattle was scattering, running here and there, and about to jump into a vegetable farm to eat, to destroy. What can he do now? Can he do the dana, the giving? Or maybe does he just want to stop the cattle from the field? If the cattle eats the farm, what will happen? It will definitely be punished by the farmer, the owner of the farmer. Maybe the owner of the cattle. Maybe the king. He could be fired. What's the choice? Giving the dana or stopping the cattle? He was thinking, this is a rare opportunity I have today in the front of me. I have something to give. I have this beautiful Bhante in the front of me. Can I give? But if I lose this opportunity, I would be punished. Anyways, I will give this. He grabbed the 2 pieces of bread into his hand and threw that to the Bhante's alms bowl and ran away to stop cattle. When he was running to the cattle, screaming, crying, he fell down on the ground. He didn't go to the cattle. The Bhante, taking the alms bowl with the 2 pieces of bread in, slowly went to the boy. There was a poisonous snake bit on the top of this little guy. In pain, he was lying down on the ground, crying. Tears came down from his cheeks. He was dying. What the Bhante did was, he went to the boy with the alms bowl in his hand. The interesting thing is, he didn't say anything. He said nothing. Venerable Moggallana Bhante didn't speak a word. What he did was, he just sat down by the boy and what? Started eating the 2 pieces of bread. He didn't say, oh, don't worry, I will take you to the hospital. You're going to be all right. Don't worry. I will grab some herbs and make some medicine. He didn't say this. Are you thirsty? Are you all right? No, you're not going to die. Eat nothing. Oh, you made some merit. That this merit will help you. He didn't say that. Just keeping eating the 2 pieces of bread in the front of this little guy. That boy was what? So happy. That's the real happiness of giving. Can we do this? Oh, I gave a dana. He forgot the pain. He forgot his life. He forgot everything. He forgot the cattle. He forgot the punishment. He forgot everything. And that the mind was overwhelmed by that happiness of giving. I gave a dana. I gave that dana to Mahasangha. This is a very rare opportunity. I did this. Can we actually do this? That's why everybody, I said that we do many things, but all the time we get distracted with our happiness and forget. We grab another feeling, we grab another, what is it called? A thought, and we engage with that thought. Like, is that way we do this? We do many good things, but we need more and more and more. And if we forget the things we do, and we are distracted all the time, we do not enjoy of our good thing. We forget. What do you say? We need more and more and more. Think about the things that you did this morning, something good. Do you still remember that? Maybe not. You're thinking about the future. Maybe you're worried about your grocery list or something. No? Yes. Why do we do this? We are distracted tremendously today. We need more. We are like, we need something very instant. We don't have time to enjoy our good things. Maybe sometimes, for example, maybe after this session, you go to the stupa. We have a beautiful stupa. Inside we have the relics too. Light a candle and go to the stupa and offer that candle to the Supreme Buddha and pay your veneration. If you like, you can chant something, maybe Karanimitha Sutta. Happy, with a happy mind, happy feeling. And enjoy that. Metta, loving kindness. Fill your mind with loving kindness. And practice this. And share that merit with devas, heavenly beings, with your teachers, with your parents, with your family, friends, with yourself, and keep that happiness with you. Maybe for 5 minutes, maybe for 10 minutes, maybe for an hour, maybe until you go home. Don't get distracted. Keep that happiness with you. This is the secret of happiness. That's why maybe I don't know about this actually. The smartphones, they are very quick, right? Very quick. You have maybe millions of things in one screen. Very quick, and you go very fast. Why is that? Easily we get distracted. We need something more and more and more and more. That's why they design this to grab, to maybe trap you, to make you distracted. Because this mind is like a monkey in a forest. The monkey wants to grab a branch. When he lets go of that branch, he needs another one. Like that mind needs some kind of objects to hold all the time, from this to that. But if it is a good one, hold it for a while. Like what? Like the chanting, like the peace or metta or something. Isn't that beautiful? That little guy did that. He forgot everything he had, the family, friends, the job, the pain, the physical pain, the death pain. But he died. Mahamoggallana Bhante, the next day maybe, he was visiting the second heavenly world, Tao thinks. There was a new mansion there in the heavenly world. And a new Deva was there. When the Bhante was visiting the heavenly world, that Deva, the being, he came down from his mansion and paid the veneration to this Bhante. The Bhante questioned, you are a new Deva. Deva, you know the word Deva? Deva is the heavenly being, the God maybe, deity. It's a new Deva. Who are you? Bhante, I am the one, the little guy who offered the 2 pieces of bread the other day. Did you know that that was your last day? I didn't know. I didn't know about my death. I know. Venerable Moggallana Bhante said. Then what is it? Out of compassion, the Bhante went to this boy. Bhante knew about the death of. Did you know that merit was this much powerful? It has this much of power? 2 pieces of bread, offering 2 pieces of bread to Mahasangha gives you so much of happiness like this? No, Bhante. I didn't know. I knew, Bhante said. I knew something more, Bhante said. What was that? You're supposed to go to hell after death. What is it? That good karma changes the life. He was supposed to go to hell. The Bhante changed. That boy, he was in the heavenly world. Maybe still he is experiencing the heavenly happiness. What is this secret? What is that power? How can this good merit change our life from hell to heavenly world? Is that the power of the bread, the calories? Protein, vitamins? Huh? Or the butter or whatever? No. Comes from this. It comes from the heart. Happiness. satisfaction. If you can do this, you can have the same thing, same happiness. That's why I say that this is the real renunciation. Giving. Giving gives you merit. Giving gives you happiness. Could be something simple, could be something really big. That doesn't depend on the things you give. The merit doesn't depend on the things you give. Maybe $100, maybe $1. Difference. With a happy mind, with that intention of kindness, intention of goodwill, intention of love, intention of helping, compassion, you give $1. Intention of good name, they will praise me. Intention of like being on the television, I give $100. They will publish my name on the paper or something, I give. The difference, right? That doesn't work. That's the real, the beautiful way of renunciation. It's a good start. Intention of renunciation. Practice generosity a lot. How? Your time, you can spend your time for happiness of others. You can share your knowledge, you can share your wisdom, you can share your power, you can share your blessings, you can share your kindness, compassion, you can share your smile. No? That's giving. That's the good start. When you do this, the Buddha said, the mind is trained to give, to let go. That's the beautiful letting go. People talk about letting go a lot, letting go of fear, letting go of depression, letting go of anxiety, whatever they talk a lot about today. It's hard. We cannot do that. Why? The mind is not trained to give, to let go by giving, helping, kind, happy things to share. This is the way you let go. When you go to the first precept, abstaining from killing a mosquito, you have compassion in your heart and you give. What do you give actually? Security. You give tremendous beings, freedom from fear, depression, anxiety, and everything you give. If you do not practice the first precept, you do not give the freedom from fear. If I have a weapon hidden in me, you're not comfortable sitting here in the class. If I have a gun, you will run away. Here and there, you will run in the monastery. You will call 911. Why? I am not giving the freedom from fear to you. Buddha said, when you practice the first precept, you give the uncountable number of beings the freedom from fear. That's giving. In return, you will enjoy the immeasurable freedom from fear, depression, anxiety, worry. As a result, you will enjoy maybe millions of times bigger than what you give. This is called a flood of merit. It's not something simple, a flood of merit. Flood, you know, have you seen a flood of merit you receive by giving that? The second precept is the same, the third, the fourth, the fifth. For example, if your children do not listen to you, they go to parties. Sorry if this example is not proper, but they don't listen to you, they go to parties, they drink. Are you comfortable at home? You are really worried or my children, they will be in danger when they're coming back driving. Maybe they're not safe. You might be like wandering. You're not comfortable, you're not safe, you're not happy. Why not? They are not giving you the freedom from fear as they break the precept. What do you say? They do not enjoy the freedom from fear because they have not practiced. They do not have that stream of merit, flood of merit. All the precepts are same. How do we actually practice this? We go to the discourse Sakuṇagghi to talk about something more. The hawk.
The hawk. Because once in the past, a hawk suddenly swooped down and seized a quail. Then, while the quail was being carried off by the hawk, he lamented, "We were so unlucky, of so little merit, we strayed out of our own resort into the domain of others. If we had stayed in our own resort today, in our own ancestral domain, this hawk wouldn't have stood a chance against me in a fight. But what is your own resort, quail? What is your own ancestral domain? The freshly plowed field covered with clods of soil."
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. We have thank you for the beautiful reading. We have some good words here. What is it? The own resort. Our own resort is the first word. Into the domain of others. Our own resort, the domain of others. And our own ancestral domain. All right, this is a conversation between, this is actually, Linda, a Jataka story. A true story, okay? The hawk and the quail, this is Jataka story. So the hawk grabbed the quail, and then the quail was crying. The little bird was crying, "Oh, I have little merit. I am in danger. If I stay in my own ancestral safe place, domain, this hawk wouldn't catch me." She was crying. How come? So what is your safe place? What's your ancestral domain you have, the little guy? The hawk was questioning.
Then the hawk, confident of her own strength, not boasting of her own strength, released the quail, saying, "Go now, quail, but even there you won't escape me." Then bhikkhus, the quail, went to a freshly plowed field covered with clods of soil. Having climbed up on a large clod, he stood there and addressed the hawk. "Come get me now, hawk. Come get me now, hawk."
Sadhu, sadhu. Thank you for your reading. The hawk was challenging the little bird. What is your ancestral domain? Then go there. You can't escape me, he said. A little quail was so talented, so wise, so intelligent, so mindful, and he went where? Freshly plowed field covered with clouds of soil.
Then the hawk, confident of her own strength, not boasting of her own strength, folded up both her wings and suddenly swooped down on the quail. But when the quail knew that hawk has come close, he slipped inside that cloud, and the hawk shattered her breast right on the spot. So it is because when one strays outside one's own resort into the domain of others. Therefore, because
Sadhu, sadhu. Thank you. So they were both actually in the sky, and then the little quail came down to the field and stood on the clod, and then hawk was like swooping down to grab this little bird again. That little bird was so talented. What he did was just he went inside the cloud, underneath the cloud, the little cave. It's very small. The plowing cloud of soil. Yes, just he needs maybe 1 second or something. When that big bird was coming down to grab him, and he didn't have any control. That was a big accident. He died. So it is because when one strayed outside of one's own resort into the domain of others. So if we are staying in our outside of our own domain, we are not safe. What do you say? We are not safe. That's not your father's home. That's not your own safe place. You are in outside of your control and your safety.
Therefore, bhikkhus, do not stray outside your own resort into the domain of others. Māra will gain access to those who stray outside their own resort into the domain of others. Māra will get a hold on them.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. You have a new word, maybe M-A-R-A, Māra. This is the evil one. The Buddha said that our eye, ear, nose, tongue, and body belong to us. Belongs to this guy, and he controls us. Okay? Maybe he is a person actually that controls this world. Demons and things, Māra, evil one. But you can escape from him. How? When the Buddha explained this, maybe.
And what is not a bhikkhu's own resort but the domain of others? The 5 chords of sensual pleasure. What 5? Forms cognizable by the eye that are desirable, lovely, agreeable, pleasing, sensually enticing, tantalizing. Sounds cognizable by the ear. Odors cognizable by the nose. Tastes cognizable by the tongue. Tactile objects cognizable by the body that are desirable, lovely, agreeable, pleasing, sensually enticing, tantalizing. These are the 5 chords of sensual pleasure. This is what is not a bhikkhu's own resort, the domain of others.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. The little bird was in the sky. It was not the domain of himself. It was the domain of others. If you are outside of your own domain, you will be grabbed by hawks. What is the domain of others? What's the domain of Māra? 5 chords of sensual pleasures. What 5? Forms cognizable by the eye that are desirable, lovely, agreeable, pleasing, sensually enticing, tantalizing. So some attractive things outside, not inside. There are so many, millions of things that are attractive in the world. When we have uncontrolled desire, we are trapped. And we kill our happiness, peace, prosperity, freedom, and everything. And we suffer again and again and again. This is endless. The mind never satisfies with the desire to see, with the desire to hear, with the desire to smell, with the desire to taste. How much have we eaten, but we are not happy, we are not satisfied. The desire doesn't come to an end. Why not? That's the way we train our mind. We train our tongue. We train our tongue to develop the taste. We need from one thing to another. We go from this restaurant to the next. And we say this is good and this is bad, and we need more and more and more. This is endless desire. In the entire journey of samsara, we do think. Only thing is this. We need this, this, that, this, and that. It never comes to an end. It is the domain of others. That's why we are trapped. And we are born again and again and again. And we are not safe. That's why we break precepts. That's why we do not practice the mindfulness. But when someone meets this Dharma, they have this wonderful discourse. And they pay attention to the words, how the Buddha explained this. Oh, of course, yes. The things you see desirable is a domain of others. That's why you suffer. That's why you experience suffering all the time. You're not satisfied. That uncontrolled desire makes you unhappy, unsatisfied, and we die with that huge desire, endless. When we do not have good merit to come back to the human world, with the desire, we go back to a bad realm, like in a ghost world or something. That's the problem we have. It's the tremendous problem, everybody. But the noble disciple who reads this Dharma thinks about a little bit. Of course, yes. So how can we practice this? With the meditation. This I is impermanent. Permanent or impermanent? It is very clear that this I is impermanent. Not me, not mine, not myself. It is not easy to understand the meaning, but you keep reading, keep listening, keep speaking. Not me, not mine, not myself. You will get a time that you understand the meaning properly. The forms are impermanent. Permanent or impermanent? Everything you see is impermanent. Just for a temporary period of time. Not me, not mine, not myself. You train your mind. Instead, oh, this I like, this is my favorite. That's what we normally do every day. I like this movie and I like that one. I like this. When we go to your, I don't know, the camera, you have millions of pictures in your phone, right? I don't know. Why? I like it. This is mine. This is my memories. But we do not know that we are trapped to the domain of others. Instead, the noble disciple practices not me, not mine, not myself. You minimize the desire with the meditation. Why? To reach the perfect peace, permanent peace. That gives you the peace. And then forms, sounds, tastes, tangibles. This is the whole thing is the domain of others, not the bhikkhu's own resort.
Move in your own resort, bhikkhus, in your own ancestral domain. Māra will not gain access to those who move in their own resort, in their own ancestral domain. Māra will not get a hold on them. And what is the bhikkhu's resort, his own ancestral domain? It is the four establishments of mindfulness. What for? Here, bhikkhus, a bhikkhu dwells contemplating the body and the body, ardent, clearly comprehending, mindful, having removed covetousness and displeasure in regard to the world. He dwells contemplating feeling and feelings, mind in mind, phenomena in phenomena, ardent, clearly comprehending, mindful, having removed covetousness and displeasure in regard to the world. This is the bhikkhu's resort, his own ancestral domain.
What is your own resort that you're safe, comfortable, happy, peaceful? Mindfulness. It's not the way that you close your windows and doors and you stay inside. No, you go out. You go to the world. But what is your own domain? Your father's domain, your father's safe place, your own mindfulness. Mindfulness in body, mindfulness in feelings. How do we practice this? That's what we practice in the meditation. The mindfulness. Mindfulness in mind, mindfulness in Dhamma. You learn this Dhamma really well and you make your own protection by yourself. Not only you, me too. I think that too. But all the time we are outside of our own resort. What is the outside of our own resort? The beautiful things. When you see beautiful things, you don't have to close your eyes. What do you want to do? Mindfulness. You need that mindfulness. This is the something we see is impermanent. No, we cannot practice this all the time. We just, when you go to the Niagara Falls, you just enjoy that and you should do that. Or you don't see, you don't want to think that this is impermanent. If you can, it's excellent, okay? But getting the whole thing together, everything I experience is just for a temporary period of time. My eyes, the things I see, things I experience, the feelings, happy feelings, painful feelings, the happiness, the depression, everything is temporary. If it is not temporary, we cannot be cured. We will suffer with the anxiety all the time. Why? It is impermanent. Because if it is impermanent, we have a solution. Impermanent is not something that much of negative things, but gives us the mindfulness to practice. Teaches us mindfulness to practice if you have Dhamma. Everybody, I have a beautiful story again. I think you don't like stories. This is a Jataka story. The name of this Jataka is Panchagarukalina. We have listened to this story. That was the Bodhisattva. You know Bodhisattva? Bodhisattva is the Buddha to be. Was born in Benares long ago, in India. Varanasi or Varanasi. In Sinhala we say Varanasi. So this prince was born to the king's family of Brahmadatta. He had 99 older brothers from his own mom and dad. So he was wondering, I would not be the king. The kingship is not for me because I have 99 older brothers. One day, he had in the king's palace a Pacceka Buddha on his arms round. You know, the Pacceka Buddha is not the fully enlightened Buddha, a private Buddha. In that period of time of Pacceka Buddhas, they appeared like sometimes 500 Pacceka Buddhas, maybe more than that. They lived in the Gandhamana Pabbata. They come to this human world and they become enlightened from their own knowledge and wisdom, but they do not establish the dispensation, Buddha Sasana. They just come to this human world in that time period to give people the good karma, to give opportunities to people to make merit, to come to the next Supreme Buddha. They give us opportunities to meet the Supreme Buddha, supremely enlightened Buddha, like our Gautama Supreme Buddha. Does that make sense? That prince, when he was living in the palace, a Pacceka Buddha came to his house on his arms round. He gave a dana, some food to eat. And after the dana, the prince, Bodhisattva, questioned, O Bhante, am I supposed to become the king of Benares here? No, prince. But if you go to Taksasila, far away, you can become the king there. You will definitely become the king there in 7 days. How can I go? It's so far. There are 2 paths, 2 ways to reach Taxila. Taxila is all about today, Afghanistan, Pakistan, somewhere like that. So far from India, from Jambudipa. That was Jambudipa altogether in the history. And then how can I go? There are 2 ways. One is through the desert, so dangerous. The other one is from the country, prosperous. But the path through the desert is halfway of that path. If you go, maybe you can go with 7 days, but still you have so much of dangers. The desert, what are the dangers? You have no water, you have no food. It's very hard, dangerous. You can walk in the daytime, during the daytime. Plus, that desert is full of ghosts, demons, yakas. They trap you. If you lose your mindfulness, if you're not restrained with your sense faculties, eye, ear, nose, tongue, and body, if you cannot control, you are in the domain of theirs. All right, I'm ready to go through the desert. When he started his journey, 5 friends, his own friends from the same palace maybe, they joined the journey. No, you're not supposed to cross this dangerous desert. Why not? You should control your eye, ear, nose, tongue, and body. All right, your majesty. How do we say? Your highness. We can do this. All right, if you can control your eye, nose, tongue, body, you can come with me. And the Pachek Buddha gave him the Parita strings that you have on your wrist, Parita sands, valley, and Parita water for his protection. Parita is the chanting, the protective discourses. When he went there to the desert, there was a beautiful city in the desert. Like what? Of course, yes. Sounds like that to me too. Don't believe Las Vegas, right? They are not humans. They are humans, but trapped. They are not in their own domain. In the desert, you have demons. So the first city was full of ghosts, demons. And then the prince said to the group, you should restrain your mindfulness. You should restrain your eye. But when they crossed the city, someone said from the group, "Oh, your highness, can I go a little bit and enjoy something? I will go and come quickly," he said. No, you're in danger. You can't go, you can't enjoy the things, he said. No, just a little bit. He didn't listen, he go back. He went back. But he didn't come back. The demons ate him. And then the second city, the beautiful sounds. The third, someone was trapped too. The third, beautiful smells. And then the third city, the very tasty, delicious tastes. Huh? The fourth. And then the fifth, so comfortable, tangible. All these 5 people were trapped and killed and were eaten by the demons, female demons. And then the prince reached the Taxila. He entered the city, and there was a resting place. We call it Ambalam. It is a resting place, like made out of for traveling. They can rest, they can sleep at night. They have water there. Like it's a very simple one. the place, and that prince went inside, and he had the protection with the parita string. He made his protection, the guard, the defense from the parita string, and he spread some parita sands and water, and he was safe there inside. The leader of that demons, a female Yakini, she came behind this prince to grab him, but she was unable. She couldn't enter this ambalama, the resting place. Why not? That was protected by the parita. And she, at the entrance, she sat down, like disguising like a human, more beautiful than a human, closer to the heavenly being. And she was crying at the gate of this ambalama. The king of this kingdom was visiting the city on the elephant, the royal majestic elephant. He was visiting the city, and saw this beautiful woman crying at the entrance of this ambalama, resting place. The king questioned, "Who are you?" "I am the wife of this man," she said. Man is inside, right? The prince, the bodhisattva. "I'm the wife. Why are you sitting outside crying?" "He's mad at me." She was beautiful. And then the king was like amazed by the beauty of this woman. "Why are you crying?" "So he doesn't want me to come in. I'm crying." The bodhisattva out loud said to the king, "Don't come closer. This is not a human. This is a yakini. This is a female devil. Your Majesty, do not come," he said. Then this female devil said, "This is how the husbands talk about their wives when they get mad." The women, they call female yakini. They call female devils to the wives when they get mad. I don't know. Is that true? The king believed, of course, yes. This is a beautiful woman. No, no, don't cry. Come with me. If he doesn't want you, come with me. The king brought this woman, not the woman, the female devil, to the king's palace. At night, when everyone is sleeping, she asked all the demons to come to the palace and ate everybody. People, animals, pigs, dogs, cats, chicken, everything, just a heap of bones remain. And ran away to the desert. Next morning, the people from the outside of the kingdom, outside of the palace, came to the royal duty. They were surprised. Surprised? No, they were shocked to see this heap of bones from the king, the quarters, the queens, the animals. They didn't know the reason. No one knew. There was no anything. There was no danger. The palace was well protected. That had a big wall, guards. No one could enter. What happened to him? They were running here and there to look for the reason. He came to the ambalama. He met the prince inside. Questioned, "Do you even know the reason for this disaster in the king's palace?" "Of course I do." "What was that?" "That was the attack by yakas from the desert." "How could this happen?" "They lost their mindfulness. I lost my friends. Everyone in the king's palace lost their lives too because they lost their mindfulness, restrainment. You are so wise and intelligent and talented and mindful. You should be the king in our kingdom. People brought that prince on the elephant to the king's palace and gave him the crown. That was the prediction of the Pacceka Buddha. In 7 days, you will become king there. If you go. Everybody, this is a true story. This is true, the truth. Definitely happened in the past. This is all about our Buddha. This is all about our Buddha's virtue, concentration, mindfulness, restraining, and everything. This happens to everybody if they lose their mindfulness. If they cannot control the sense faculties, the eye, ear, nose, tongue. What is the name of this Jataka story, Linda? Panchagaruka.
Panchagaruka.
Panchagaruka. Panchagaruka means like they praise the pleasure in the sense faculties. Panchagaruka. They praising the pleasure of sense faculties. What did you learn today? Kind of deep Dhamma?
Yes.
Of course, yes. You learned many things. What? What is the first thing you learned today? Samadhi, and then the meaning, and then the Samma Sankappa. Samma Sankappa has 3 aspects. Number 1, renunciation. Number 2, goodwill. Number 3, harmlessness. What is renunciation? Giving is the best physical things you give. Giving things is the way that you can be happy. How do you give? Something very little you can do. You can practice giving all the time. All the time. Who brought this glass of water to the class today? This is enough for your life. If you can be happy. This is for Mahasangha. It's like the 2 pieces of bread that little boy gave. He skipped the hell and went to the heavenly world. What is it? It's the way that they thought, that they felt, that the way that they grabbed the idea, the subject. We lose so much of opportunities to be happy. We lose. We do not focus on the things we give. We just forget and we grab a different distraction. What do you say? Is that true or is that false? Be happy all the time. If you sit for a meditation for 2 minutes, be happy about your practice. That gives you so much of happiness. Don't get distracted after the meditation. Keep thinking about it. If you cook at home and if you feed your husband and wife, maybe children, be so happy about your generosity, your kindness, your compassion. This is Dhamma. This is Dhamma. If you spend your money for your children, be happy about your generosity, your compassion. That's not anything. That's your compassion, your love. That's wholesome. That's good merit. If you break a precept, correct your mistake and go on your journey. Making your mistake, making mistake you can correct your mistakes. As you correct your mistakes, you purify. And you have that happiness. Oh, I did this. I'm corrected. I corrected my mistake. I'm not, what is it? Unvirtuous? Now I'm virtuous. So, yeah. You don't have to regret. I have done this, and that. When you're corrected, you're corrected. You're on the path. That gives you happiness. That gives you opportunities to be happy. This is Dhamma. This is Dhamma. Why that boy was supposed to born in hell? Because of the bad actions he did before. Everybody. They did something bad too, that he can grab him to the hell world. He didn't have any good merit to escape. But the Bhante went there. And he made a powerful merit. He was saved. The good merit can change this journey. The merit can change. But you need that mindfulness. What? Happiness about the good action you do. This is all about the Sakuṇagghi, the little bird and the hawk. They stay in the same place, the little bird. Bird is little, the quail is little, his place is little, not much pleasure or something, but he is safe. The hawk is big, powerful, mighty, but he is in danger when the quail is inside. He was killed. The big bird was killed, right? By himself. What is that power? Power of that little bird? Power of that little cave? No. Power of the mindfulness. When you are safe with the mindfulness, restraining your eye faculties, sense faculties, you're not distracted. You're not distracted. You have no regrets, as you do not break precepts. What do you say? This is the true way of finding happiness, peace, and wisdom. And this is just for the Nibbana, because this is the second step in the Noble Eightfold Path. Right intention, Samma Sankappa. Did you like the session?
Yes, ma'am. Bhante,
Yes.
ask a question.
Yes.
I know, Bhante, when there are beautiful things in the world, then we don't really need to close our eyes. We just have to be mindful all the time.
Yes.
Same as the other faculties, Bhante.
Yes.
But Supreme Buddha also talked about Indriya Samvara.
Yeah.
And also in Sappasala Sutta, Buddha also talked about how we can remove defilements through avoiding, like we have
Yes.
to avoid certain
Yes.
things.
Yes.
So I guess one day we have to be wise in terms of like how to live this life, this human life, right? Maybe some aspects of our life we have to kind of like not going into.
Yes, of course, yes.
Yes.
Some things are like 100%, you should keep that away.
Yeah. But for the daily life activity, as long as it's still under certain boundaries, we have to only exercise mindful.
Yes.
We just avoid those extreme, like people like to go to the park, to the,
Yes.
places that are not like, again, like the casino stuff like that.
Right.
So those we have to not go in there.
Right.
But this mindfulness is in terms of our daily life.
Yeah, of course, yes, Linda. That's correct. Our if you get this with the precepts, actually, if that helps breaking precepts, or maybe if it causes breaking precepts, you should not enjoy that. That's maybe the closer explanation, the definition. Something you see can cause to break the precepts. You should not go there. Does that make sense? Is that the way that we can actually describe this scenario? So we should see things. If we do not see with our eyes, we do not recognize this is my teacher, this is my mom, this is a dangerous place, this is electric wires or something. You don't say that. We should see, but the mindfulness. Breaking precepts, we should be very careful about breaking precepts, especially the 5. That could be so dangerous, breaking precepts. The bad merit is so dangerous, okay? Why do we do this when we have Dhamma? If you don't have Dhamma, if you're not taught, that's reasonable. Maybe they don't know something, but they have the bad results too. We don't want to experience suffering as long as the compassionate being came and taught us Dhamma. Out of compassion, he preached, right? Does that make sense? How can you be happy? Something you do very little. Maybe you undertook the 5 precepts and be happy extremely. That peace is amazing. Leads to Nibbana. Leads to the safe world next time. Be happy. You never have regrets. Never do. Never, ever. Happier life. This is the key to a happy life. Dhamma. We don't want to experience depression, fear, anxiety. We don't want. If you clearly look back, whenever you're depressed, you became anxious, you became you fearful or something, that causes from the precepts, mostly. Maybe something that you have done bad. When we skip it, we make merit, and that merit leads for peace. That's why this Dhamma is the best medication. The best. You don't want to find anything more for you, mental peace. This Dhamma is, what you learned today is enough, actually. You need that. And then the merit, be very happy about the merits. This merit will definitely lead you to the entire happiness.